Are there enough laws against racism? Why is it that those who commit racism are often able to walk free? Why is racism still an issue today when there has been an evident infliction of pain and trauma on the communities affected by it? How come we never learn from past events? What can we, as individuals, do to stop racism? Racism is the prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against members of a particular racial or ethnic group. It is one of the most prevalent violations of human rights in our society. It can range from the exclusion of recognition to an act of violence which oftentimes leads to death. Racial injustice has been a battle since the beginning of time, with seemingly no light at the end of the tunnel. The refusal of Rosa Parks to give her seat to a white man on a bus, the peaceful protest of the American Civil Rights Movement, led by Martin Luther King Jr., seeking equality and human rights for all victims of injustice, the police brutality murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, and hundreds of other black people, the hate crimes against Asian Americans in the United States, and recently, the intensified xenophobia against Asians due to COVID-19. How is it that skin color can make us so repulsive to the idea of respecting someone? What does a color have that instantly dictates how a person should stand in a society? Why should anyone suffer from carrying a complexion that they didn't have control over? These are some of the absurd arguments that I hope can invoke a moment of reflection within you. There are reasons behind racism, but in no circumstance will it ever be justified. We may have views of our own, but that doesn't mean that we should always act on them. Let us all, as cohabitants of this world, prioritize peace above everything else. Respect begets respect, and so, it should prevail if we ever want to achieve harmony between ourselves. Hatred is the response of a coward who cannot fathom the idea of their. Stand with me as we demand that enough is enough. At the end of the day, as we're stripped off of our skins, we all stand the same. We are more united than we think we are. Regardless of how we identify in terms of nationality, ethnicity, gender, and whatnot, we have the same red blood coursing through our veins. Despite the differences we have in our well-being, may it be physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, giving love and respect should be our common ground.
A gender equality society will be one where word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves. Gender equality, when persons of all genders have equal rights, duties, and opportunities, this is referred to as gender equality. Gender inequality has an impact on everyone, including women, men, trans, and gender diverse persons, children, and also families. It affects people of all ages and from all walks of life. Common problems of not having a gender equality. Racism. It is hard to discuss gender inequality without including racism. It has an impact on what occupations women of color can attain and how much they are paid, as well as how legal and healthcare institutions see them. Lack of legal protection. According to World Bank study, nearly 1 billion women are not legally protected from domestic sexual abuse or domestic economic violence. Both have a big influence on women's capacity to prosper and live their lives freely. There are also little legal rights against harassment in the job, in school, and in public in many nations. Without protection, these settings become dangerous and women are forced to make decisions that compromise and restrict their ambitions. It is hard for us to live where we are being stereotyped by people, but in many ways, we can still be ourselves and prove to them that they are wrong. I advocate to have an equality for the genders to have their rights as a human and also as a member of the society.
Did you ever experience a not that good healthcare service? PhilHealth is a government-owned public healthcare corporation in the Philippines. They help the members to have a discount for their hospital expenses, treatments, or medical needs like milks, maintenance medicines, or surgical needs. The assigned doctors and nurses in public hospitals are highly proficient despite of struggling for unequal health services or medical care. The medical services in the Philippines depends if it's urban to poor in rural areas. Sadly, this government corporation took a lot of money from their membership card holders. The government officials must take responsibility because the citizens are the ones having a hard time. The officials are the ones having the benefits by making wrong diagnoses, fake documentations, and informations of a person. We all believe in the saying, health is wealth. But if the government officials continue on corrupting, then we will never gonna get the better healthcare service we deserve. That's why I hope, after watching this, you will see and realize that our country is lacked in terms of healthcare service. Our country deserves equal and better healthcare service for everyone.
Have you ever been a victim of injustice? Have you ever experienced discrimination? Have you ever felt belittled by someone? I think one of the biggest concerns or problems in this society is getting belittled by the people who feel superior on themselves, when in fact, there's nothing like that in this world. When a person is weak, some people just tend to be arrogant because they feel like they're easy to fight the weak ones. And that's the starting point where you can feel like that even the people around you is not as safe to be with and you can feel their rights as a human being anymore. People also tend to have a standard for different aspects in life such as social status, skin color, etc. to give and earn respect to each other. It's just so sad that the older ones and even the younger ones have this unacceptable mindset. Well-off people or people who have connections have been always the priority in this society, which I feel like it's unfair for everyone, especially to those who are living in such a simple life. If the government can do well in this aspect, I hope every individuals know that we have rights equally and we must respect that. And besides, God created us equally, so we don't have the right to just downgrade other people in such an unacceptable reason. If you're aware that you're doing this kind of behavior, I hope you stop and start reflecting on yourself. We are human beings who have feelings, so I hope you should always think first before you talk or do something that can possibly hurt other people. We are human beings who are trying to survive every day, so I hope we can be kind to each other. I can still see the goodness in the world, so I hope you can be part of it. Be kind. Embrace. Me too. Fairness. Mission.